Welcome to the Hall Pass Podcast, the podcast where your voice leads the conversation.
That's right. If you ever felt like you needed a map to navigate the maze of high school and beyond, you found your compass. We're your student-led discussion panel, and we're bringing you the real talk, straight from the source.
We're tackling everything that matters to us as students. Think of it as a cheat sheet for the toughest classes, except this is your whole high school experience.
We'll be diving deep into things that can make or break your 4 years of high school and your future.
We're here to give you the insider scoop, share our own victories and epic fails, and help you unlock the doors to success. No more guessing games. Grab your imaginary hall pass and tune in.
So stick with us because class is officially in session. You're watching and listening to Hall Pass.
I'm Kaylee Salyards, and I'm here with Abby Weatherby. How are you doing with school?
Hey, everything is going well. You know, fall play just ended, musicals starting, chamber choir got first place on B101, so everything's very exciting. But I'm very stressed out about junior year. Like, college is coming up. I have no idea what I'm doing senior year, but thank God we have this podcast. We have Mr. Roscoe coming in today to teach us about a few things.
When we come back, we'll meet Mr. Roscoe and go over all things preparing for college, de-stressing those applications, essays, and FAFSA.
Shut the door, you're letting the heat out. Unplug your charger, you're wasting electricity. Don't leave the water running, it's wasteful.
Mom, it's freezing. Can you please turn on the heat?
It's only October. Put some blankets on.
Closing exterior doors can save up to 20% of a home's heat loss. The U.S. Department of Energy estimates that unplugging unused devices can save households $100 to $200 annually. The EPA estimates that leaving the water running wastes about 4 gallons each time you brush. Webster First says that by decreasing your thermostat from 70 or more degrees down to 68, you can save around 5% on heating cost. You may have to wear a sweater in the house and get cozy under some blankets, but you'll be proud of the results later. You can save as much as 10% a year on heating and cooling by turning your thermostat back 7 to 10 degrees for 8 hours a day from its normal setting. Conserve to preserve. Learn more about ways to conserve energy at njng.com.
Welcome back to Hall Pass Podcast. Today we have Mr. Roscoe, our Woodstown High School school counselor. So tell me, how did you get into counseling? Where did you start out?
So I started out small as a substitute teacher at Kingsway High School. That was the high school that I went to. So I felt very comfortable going into that circumstance and that situation. I went about a year after I graduated college, so I did not know what I wanted to do after graduating college. So I really want to tell all the students that I talk to how normal it is to not know what you want to do. And I went into education really at first just to see how it would go. I didn't really have plans to be a school counselor or even to touch education when I was in school. So I went after I graduated in COVID because I was pretty lost, and then I realized that, okay, I actually really like being a substitute teacher. I really like the classroom dynamic. I actually really like education as a whole. And then when I started applying for a master's program for school counseling, that's when I was like, okay, not only do I like education, but I like what I'm learning. It seems like I actually found a nice groove of things. So it wasn't so much as an accident, but I didn't plan on it, and I'm really happy that I found it.
And what college did you go to?
So for my undergrad, I went to Westchester University, and for grad school, I started at Widener University, and then I went to Wilmington University. I finished off there.
When you were in high school, like what degree, like did you have an idea of what you wanted to study?
So It was very strange for me. This is kind of ironic as a practicing school counselor now, saying in high school I really didn't care about college. I very much sat back and allowed my parents to take charge of things. So I went to college what I was good at. Or I went to college for what I was good at, for English. I was really great at writing. I still am. I really like and enjoy writing. But I didn't really have any plans to being a writer. I just went to college for it because I thought I was good at it. And then in college, I kind of found other classes that otherwise I never would have learned about. Like, funny enough, I took a class similar to podcasting. It was called Digital Humanities. And I learned that I really liked editing videos and editing audio. And I never would have learned that if I didn't go to college. So I didn't have a plan necessarily, but it kind of formed over time. So I went to college for what I was good at.
When was the moment that you found out, like, you really wanted to be, like, a guidance counselor?
So, like I said, after I graduated college, I was pretty lost. And it's kind of funny looking back. I graduated right when COVID was happening. Graduated in 2020. So, like many different people, I felt very lost for many different reasons. And I was having a conversation with my mom about pretty much just what to do next, because neither of us knew what was happening. And she said, well, you always had a really good relationship with your guidance counselor at Kingsway. And she was like, you ever thought about doing that? And I was like, huh, why not? So in a way, this kind of all started with why not? But I did research and I looked up online. I saw like YouTube videos made by school counselors talking about what school counseling is like. So it's not really a Hail Mary or a leap of faith. I actually did do some research after thinking about it. So that's one of the reasons why I really encourage doing research. But in a way, it kind of was a leap of faith. Yeah. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's so cool. So I know you talk to the seniors mainly for school about like what's going on with college. Like when you were in senior year at Kingsway, right?
Yeah.
Did you have something like that at school where you had like a school counselor come in and talk to you guys?
Yes. Yeah. So they're called lesson plans. Each of the counselors here have a class, like a year. So I have seniors, I believe Ms. Strachan has juniors, and Ms. Orange I think has freshmen and sophomores. I could be incorrect. But basically, we lead classroom lessons, so those presentations, for each of the classes, English classes. So the reason why we do English is because every student takes English once a year in high school. So we perform presentations to give really important information to those classes. Like I gave a presentation about Common App and how to apply to colleges and SCOIR and like really what SCOIR was, just to give all the information out to the seniors, and then we share that PowerPoint to them. It's just sharing really important information to those classes. But to answer your question, yes, it did exist at Kingsway. And I imagine it exists at most, if not all, high schools too, because I know that's a common practice for, it's just a method for school counselors to share information with their students.
What would you say is like the first step? I feel like a lot of students stress about letters of recommendation. So what would you recommend is their first step as starting out to ask teachers?
It's not so much a cop-out answer, but it really is just to ask them. I know in the counseling office there are forms. There are orange forms close by to Miss Jenkins that allow you to kind of similarly to when you guys have an essay in English class and you have to break it down as an outline. There are forms in the counseling office that allow you to draft an outline for a letter of recommendation for you to then give to a teacher of your choice. And that you can use that as like a foot in a door to like speak to the teachers that you want to ask. If you don't feel too comfortable with just asking them, you can grab those forms in the counseling office. So I would say that is a good first step.
And what's like the general like form of the outline? Like what's on the outline? Like,
so I don't have it in front of me, but I do know it asks like, because colleges really like to see instances of perseverance. So it's really good to mention times where you felt that you were struggling in school and how did you overcome that. I know it references extracurricular activities because colleges also really like to see that, not just a student simply just going to class and doing really well, even though that's fantastic, but extracurricular activities is also good too. And I can't remember exactly what the other questions are, but I know it's various. I know that.
And the teacher that you choose fills that out for you?
So you fill it out, and then you show it to the teacher. Typically, depending on the teacher, they'll probably have a letter of recommendation in mind to write for you, but that just makes their job easier. And also a good thing to point out is you don't have to, but typically you want to ask teachers that are in the core classes. What I mean by that is like English, math, science, history. And the reason why is because you need those classes to graduate, so the chances of those teachers having a lot to say about you increases.
And like, just out of curiosity, what do the teachers like write on the letters of recommendation?
Well, that depends on the teacher. I would imagine it has to do with their past with you if you had them multiple times. If they've been a teacher here for a while, maybe they've known you for multiple years. They would probably highlight what they think about your character. They would highlight really anything that they feel a college needs to know. Like I said, colleges really like to see perseverance. They like to see that a student has struggled, but also worked through that struggle. But it does depend on the teacher. Each teacher is different.
What's the best way to approach a teacher about a recommendation letter?
Best way to approach is by using that form. You can talk to them personally, during class, I wouldn't say because there's the lesson going on, but office hours is good as well too. In my experience, each teacher here is really approachable, so you can just go up to the teacher and ask them. If it's a teacher that has been working for a while, chances are they've written letters of recommendation, so maybe they have their own system in place on like, okay, you can meet with me here, you can meet with me there. It's really depends on the teacher, but I would just say go up to them, talk to them.
So we have two main apps that we use that you guys have given to us. SCOIR and the Common App. What's like the difference between the two?
So, Common App is the first one. Common App is what typically most students will use to apply to college. Common App is a system or a website where you just put all information inside. That's information about your classes, like all the classes you've taken, extracurricular activities, just all of it. Just a whole bunch of data packed into one, let's call it profile. And you apply to colleges. You can list the colleges. Let's say you want to go to Rowan, you'll type in Rowan, and then Rowan University asks for specific information. Same with Temple, same with Rutgers, so on and so forth. So that's how you apply. Now, Common App doesn't have the ability to send those documents, like send important documents like transcripts and letter of recommendations. So that's where SCOIR comes into place. Thankfully for us, SCOIR and Common App can be linked. So when you're finished putting all that information in the Common App, you link those two profiles, which you can use using your Woodstown Google email and also password. You can just create the profiles on both, and they'll link together. So all that information from Common App goes into SCOIR, allowing us, your school counselor, to then send all the information there. Does that make sense? Because it's a lot of information. So basically, Common App is where you put all the data in. SCOIR allows that data to be sent. And it's us that pretty much clicks it. And it's a very seamless situation. Yeah, you just have to connect the two.
What do both of the apps contain of? Like, what can they do for the seniors or juniors who are trying to find colleges?
So trying to find colleges, I would say SCOIR. SCOIR, beyond just sending the letters of recommendation and all those important documents, it is like a treasure trove of information. So let's say, and it's super normal if you are, let's say you don't know what you want to do after college. I wasn't that way, or I was that way, as I explained earlier. SCOIR can give you the opportunity to look up colleges, but not by name. I can't imagine a lot of people know many different colleges. So you can look up, it's called a filter. So you can look up if you want a private college or a public one, if you want to go for a bachelor's or an associate's, if you want the overall vibe, if you want it to be urban or if you want it to be rural, if you want it to be a large caseload, or not caseload, but large class size, small, you're going for a specific major, you just filter all of that out and then we'll show you all the colleges in the United States, and I believe some that are outside of it too, that kind of fit that bill. Other methods to looking up colleges is really just online. If you have a specific college in place, let's say like you really like the feel of Rowan, you can click on Rowan's, each college has like their own homepage on SCOIR. You can click on Rowan and it'll show you all the colleges that are similar to it. It could also show you colleges that past students at Woodstown have applied to, if they also applied to Rowan. There's just a bunch of different ways to help you expand your horizons, so to speak.
And I know that when you send in or you put in your information, you said on Common App,
Mm-hmm.
we send in our information. Isn't there a thing for transcripts for our grades and things like that?
Yes, on Common App.
Yes, I believe
Yeah. So if ever on Common App it's asking you for your transcript, you can just ask your school counselor because we're the ones that can just send that to you. There's also a point in SCOIR that they ask for your transcript and we send that as well. So whenever you need a transcript for an application, you just reach out to your counselor. And, we can
And
provide
they'll
that.
put it in there for us.
We provide it to you. I've had students ask me, "Hey, can you send me my transcripts? I need it for Common App." Then I just send it to them via email. It's on SCOIR that we're the ones that send it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does a student access SCOIR?
A student can access SCOIR by logging onto the website itself. I think it's just score.com. It's spelled strangely, so it's not SCORE. It's SCOIR. So it's score.com, and like I said before, you could just create a profile using your Woodstown email. I believe they might actually be already created. I'm not too familiar or certain of when those profiles were created. I maybe even freshman year. I'm not too familiar, but I know that it is your Woodstown email address.
And then for Common App, and don't they both have apps that we can download on our phones and stuff like that?
I believe so. Yeah, I know Common App does. I believe SCOIR might.
I think it does.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for our essays, for not the letter recommendation, but the essays that we have to submit and create ourselves, what do you recommend that colleges are looking for in our essays? So I feel like that's a common question.
Yeah. Well, I would say they are looking for honesty. They really like I said, perseverance. They like seeing that a student has struggled and they push through it. To really answer that question, to really understand more about that, I would reach out to your senior year English teacher, because I know early on in the school year, your English teacher in senior year will make the college essay one of the assignments. I know that. I would say, I believe I focused mine on the necessity of, or not the necessity, but the benefits of failing. How when you mess up, you can learn more about yourself, and sometimes you need to mess up to really know what success feels like or something like that. And obviously it worked, so I went to college. But to really understand, or to get more help about the act of actually writing the essay, I would reach out to your English teacher. But I think a really good focus point is really your own journey throughout high school. What made your high school experience your high school experience? Yeah.
So they want something that's going to be more on the growth side.
Yes, I would absolutely say that. Yeah, because that's what one of the things that gets sent is your transcript. It shows all 4 years, and all 4 years aren't going to be the same. It's going to show growth. So this is just another way of articulating your growth in high school.
So FAFSA has become a graduation requirement, right? How do students fill that out?
So, the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. Pretty sure I said that right. So students will fill that out by going onto the FAFSA website itself called studentaid.gov. And they just need to create a profile. And it's actually pretty, not seamless, because I believe it takes around an hour. I could be wrong. But I know that students take it, preferably, I think it's actually required to take it with a parent or guardian close by, because the type of questions that they ask, only a parent or guardian would know. They ask questions like monetary questions, the income of the household, and so on and so forth. But you would go into the website, and it pretty much just walks you through it. And it goes step by step.
What exactly is FAFSA? Because a lot of people don't.
So the FAFSA is a way for you to determine your eligibility for different forms of aid for colleges, whether it be scholarships or grants. So everyone has different eligibilities, because there's so many different scholarships, so many different grants out there. Everyone has their own. So you complete your FAFSA form, and you actually link, or you set up, let's say you have 5 colleges in mind you want to go to. You would list those 5 colleges in the process of completing your FAFSA. And then FAFSA, because it's a federal website, it's a federal application process, it will display to you all the different information or applicable to those colleges itself.
Okay.
So it gives you information about what scholarships you're eligible for, what grants you're eligible for, and so on and so forth, because everyone's different.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Is there any other final stuff you would like to tell seniors, juniors?
Really reach out to your counselors, reach out to your teachers, reach out to your parents or guardians, because I really want to make it known that you're not alone in this. It's very normal to feel like you have so much resting on your shoulders, but I really want to hammer it home that you're not alone. You have support systems in place. It just requires you to take that step and talk to them. You know?
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we will be right back.
My clothes still aren't dry.
Hi,
Who are you?
I'm Kingston, your energy footprint friend. Instead of using a dryer, you can put your clothes on the clothing line or a drying rack.
Wait, that's a good idea. Thanks.
Air dry clothing can reduce your climate impact up to 67%, with machine drying accounting for around 75% of laundry's total carbon footprint. Good job choosing a more energy efficient way to help conserve and preserve. This is just one of the ways to cut down on your energy waste. It is important to be mindful of your personal energy footprint and the ways you can reduce your energy waste.
What did you think about all the information that Mr. Roscoe gave us?
You know, I thought it was very helpful. He talked about essays, he talked about SCOIR. Like, I had no idea how to use SCOIR at all, so I'm really glad he went over everything. He also talked about FAFSA. I had no idea what that was. I had no idea we had to do anything with that, so I'm really glad he talked over all the things.
Yeah, and I feel like he gave a good description on what we needed to do with filling out and asking teachers everything and getting the information that we needed in order to submit things for college.
I'm really glad he also went over his own personal experiences, because personally, I have no idea what I want to do for college yet, so I'll definitely be looking into that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on the Hall Pass podcast. We hope you enjoyed and got some of your questions answered. I'm Abby Weatherby.
And I'm Kaylee Salyards. Coming up next time, we'll talk with Mrs. Strachan about what juniors should start doing to prepare for college in 11th grade. See you next time on the Hall Pass podcast.